You know that magical gut-twisting feeling you get when you see your crush? The butterflies, the stupid grin, the intense urge to suddenly become a more interesting person? Yeah, they don't feel that at all. In fact, if they noticed you at all, it was probably to wonder if you needed help finding the exit. But why? Why does it always seem like the people you like don't like you back? Is it bad luck? Are you cursed by a vengeful witch? Is Cupid on vacation, drunk, and shooting arrows into walls? Well, good news. Today, we're not only going to expose the real reasons this happens, we're going to fix it. Because you deserve better than liking people who think of you as, hey, what's your face? Let's dive in. Let's rewind for a second. Remember Jessica from high school? The way your heart exploded when she laughed at her own joke? And you laughed too, even though you didn't hear it? Because you were too busy planning your entire future together? Yeah, Jessica never knew you existed, and if she did, she thought you were just Mike's weird friend. It's tragic, but it's also perfectly explainable. And it's happening because of the 3 crushing truths about attraction. Let's go through them one by one. Truth number 1, you like them for shallow reasons. All right, brace yourself, because this one's gonna sting. You don't actually know the people you like. You're just infatuated with the idea of them. You think you love their soul, their laugh, their vibe, their aura. Nah, you like their face, or the way they dress, or the way they made eye contact once and your brain spun an entire Netflix original series starring the 2 of you. Meanwhile, they're a real person with flaws, insecurities, and 700 unread emails, just like you. But your brain doesn't care. Your brain is like a golden retriever. It sees something shiny and goes, this is it, this is love, throw the ball. And here's the twist. When you like someone for surface reasons, it shows. They can feel it. You're not connecting with them like a real human. You're connecting with your fantasy version of them. And guess what? Nobody likes being treated like an object even if they're hot. Especially if they're hot. They've been through some things. But hey, don't worry. Maybe if you just stare at them harder from across the room, they'll eventually feel the heat of your gaze and realize they were in love with you the whole time. Totally works. Just ask every awkward sitcom character ever. Truth number 2, you're not actually being yourself. Here's another brutal reality. When you like someone, you get weird. You suddenly forget how to talk. You laugh at jokes that aren't funny. You pretend to like things you don't. Oh, you love death metal? Wow, me too. I've totally been listening to Screaming Demons of Despair since I was 5. You become a discount version of yourself. A poorly edited trailer. An off-brand cereal called Frosted U's. And the more you try to perform for them, the more they subconsciously pick up on it and think, something feels off. Because guess what? Confidence is attractive. Authenticity is attractive. Trying to morph into someone else to impress them? That's like showing up to a job interview in a clown suit and wondering why you didn't get hired. And don't even get me started on the DMs you sent that sounded like you were applying for a corporate merger instead of asking someone to hang out. True story. Once, I tried to impress someone by pretending I was a huge outdoorsy person. I spent 3 hours hiking up a trail called Devil's Elbow in 90-degree heat. I almost passed out. She casually jogged up the mountain like a gazelle. Meanwhile, I was sweating out my soul and internally screaming, what am I doing here? Spoiler, she didn't like me back. Because even if she had, she would have eventually found out that my natural habitat is air conditioning and sarcasm, not hiking shoes and scenic overlooks. Truth number 3, attraction isn't fair. Here's the part nobody likes hearing, but it's absolutely true. Attraction isn't logical. You can be the funniest, smartest, nicest person in the world, and the person you like might still feel nothing. Zero. Nada. Zilch. Why? Because attraction isn't a transaction, it's a reaction. You can't convince someone to be attracted to you like you convince a toddler to eat broccoli. It's chemical, it's biological, it's based on a million little factors you have no control over, like their past experiences, their attachment styles, their subconscious beliefs about themselves, and whether or not you remind them of their 3rd grade nemesis, Chad. But sure, if you just send one more good morning beautiful text, that'll probably tip the scales, right? Spoiler, it won't. All right, before we talk about solutions, there's one more truth you need to hear. You're not just chasing the person, you're chasing certainty. Think about it. You like someone. They represent safety, validation, a story you can tell yourself. If they liked me, then I'd be enough. It's not just them you're obsessed with, it's the fantasy of a guaranteed happy ending. A little certificate that says, "Congratulations, you're lovable, carry on." And I get it. It feels good to think, if only this one person liked me, everything else would fall into place. But here's the problem. That desperate craving for certainty, people can smell it. It's like emotional body odor. It radiates neediness. And neediness is about as attractive as sending someone a Google Calendar invite for your wedding after one date. I once knew a guy. Let's call him Todd. Todd was smart, funny, decent looking, but the second he caught feelings for someone, it was like watching a man turn into human cling wrap. He would text 17 times a day. He would coincidentally show up at their favorite coffee shop 3 weekends in a row. He would post cryptic, sad Instagram stories, hoping they'd see them and respond. Newsflash, they didn't. And every time it didn't work out, Todd would spiral into full existential meltdown mode. I'll be alone forever. Why does nobody love me? Dude, you're not unloved. You're just handing people a 10-ton weight called Be My Everything and wondering why they're backing away slowly. Imagine someone showing up to a first date with a moving truck parked outside. "Hey, so excited to meet you. I already brought all my stuff. We can start building our life together after appetizers." You'd run. You'd fake your own death to escape. Because no one wants to feel like they're being trapped into solving someone else's self-esteem crisis. They want to meet someone who's already whole, not someone shopping for a personality transplant. And that, my friends, is why the real move isn't about convincing them to like you. It's about convincing yourself that you don't need to be chosen to be worthy. Okay, so if liking someone for shallow reasons doesn't work, and trying to morph into their dream partner doesn't work, and attraction isn't fair, what the heck are you supposed to do? Here's the answer. You become magnetic by focusing less on being liked and more on being happy with yourself. Yeah, I know, super original, but stick with me. The people who naturally attract others are the ones who are comfortable in their own skin. Don't desperately chase validation, know what they bring to the table, have passions, hobbies, and their own life happening already. They're not sitting around refreshing Instagram wondering why their crush didn't like their photo of a chicken sandwich. They're too busy being awesome. And that energy, that authenticity, that is what draws people in, whether romantically, platonically, or just as fans of your general vibe. It's like restaurants. The popular ones, they're not standing out on the sidewalk begging people to come in. They've got a line out the door. And half the time you don't even know if the food is good yet. You just assume it must be, because other people want it. Confidence, scarcity, intrigue. It's human nature. Be the restaurant with the line, not the sad sandwich shop yelling, "Free pickles if you love me." So next time you find yourself obsessing over someone who barely knows you exist, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, do I like them for who they actually are? Or just the fantasy? Am I being fully myself, or am I auditioning for a role I wasn't meant to play? And most importantly, am I putting myself first? Or am I making their validation the center of my self-worth? Because here's the best part. When you finally stop chasing the people who don't like you, you make room for the ones who genuinely do. And that's when the real magic happens. So go out there. Be your weird, wonderful, imperfectly magnetic self. Fall in love with your own life first. And if someone likes you back, great. If not, their loss. Because you, my friend, are officially off the clearance rack. Subscribe for more brutally honest life advice. Or don't. I'll still sleep fine tonight.